Okay, so I'm back again, and today we are going to install the new the rebuilt carburetor. See if I'm going to be able to do everything correctly when I rebuilt it. And we're going to put the gas tank on and throw the carburetor on here and see if we can get this thing running. I'm a little iffy on the carburetor. When I rebuilt it, there were some parts off of that parts kit that weren't OEM spec for the kit, and I had to actually drill out the needle and the needle housing to get it unstuck from the carburetor. So we'll see if this is going to work or not, but let's get it hooked up, get going. I just got back from church on Sunday, so you know I'm ready to go. So we'll just grab the carburetor here. I've got everything ready to go with the vacuum line and the overflow and the gas line and everything. All I need to do is hook up the choke and see if we can get it running. So we'll get this moved over back to the quad. Install this car back onto the quad, we need to put this cover back on. There'll be a gasket on here and then the cover. Now I think I've got everything pretty much set up but the choke, so we'll go ahead and put the carburetor back on here. Then we'll just insert the carburetor. Now what I'm going to do is we are going to reinstall the choke here, which is going to be a little difficult to do with the way that this spring is. And I'm just hoping that this spring doesn't bound up like it did before. And get this choke installed. Into the carburetor. And it does appear to work. So I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit on the top. I'll tell you what, with this cable and this whole deal, the way that this is set up, I would just go to the plunger type like they run on the dirt bikes, and I would not even mess with this bullshit the way they did this for handlebar operation. Okay, and then we'll just tighten this clamp back up. Got the choke put back on there. Okay, now we'll hook the throttle cable up. Now we're just gonna hook the throttle cable back up. If I remember how it was run up here. And we'll have to adjust all this. Okay. Now we've got to hook back up our ventilation type system. And it was just together with a 1/8mm nut. But we're going to try to see if we can get this thing started without the airbox first, just to make sure it's not going to leak and everything. Then put your hose clamps back on the ventilations. Now we'll just hook up the gas tank. I gotta lift it up and then lower this back down. Now we'll just try to get the gas tank installed back in, which I had a heck of a time getting it off. Put our two 10mm bolts back in. Okay, now before we move the gas up, I'm going to fill the gas tank up and run the gas through the line first and try to avoid getting a bunch of air in the carburetor. That should be enough gas. What I'm gonna do is now, before we try to start it, we definitely need to get this new air filter on here and just get this airbox back on here. That way, if we get it started and running, I just don't have to worry about it. And then we will reinstall back. There we go, we'll get this put back on. Now we'll try to get the airbox put back on. And we'll tighten the boot back up to the carburetor. And don't forget, you have the computer and there's a mount on the side of this box for this air box. And this air hose, this vent tube goes to this air box. Oh hell, I'm gonna have to put that computer on the side. This is not gonna stay here. We'll just reinstall the lid. See if we get this thing started. Okay, so we got the carb rebuilt. Just double check and make sure that your fuel is on. And I'm going to attempt to start this here and see if we can get this started. Got my 8mm ready for my throttle adjustment. Okay, here we go. Choke is on. what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to raise the throttle from the cable here. Not an easy task. Ooh, it's hot. Well, farts. Well, I'm gonna have to prop this gas tank up to get to the throttle cable so I can adjust it. That's it before Marcia kills me. Okay, and as you can see, it appears that I've got it running, and I'm actually really surprised with the way that the carburetor sets. I do want to say one thing, and that is that thing smoked really bad. So I'm not sure, maybe that's from the paint that he put on here. I'm not sure why it smoked like that, but it does run. So next week we'll get everything hooked back up. I need to change the spark plug. I got a new ignition coil, and we'll just go from there. But yeah, I'm real glad I got this thing running. I didn't think I was going to with the carburetor the way it was. I mean, it was just nasty. Like I said, that's the nastiest carburetor I've ever seen. So, yep, can't wait for the next project here, but we'll get this all back together and get this running, and then I'll just shoot a couple more videos. And don't forget to check the links below. Amsoil dealer 554-1460. We need to change the oil, aluminum radiator, new antifreeze. All the brake fluid's going to be done. So, yeah, stay tuned. Check out the videos in my description. I'm out of here.